Yo, 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 what's up, champions? This is Adam Arbor, and I'm here with the lovely Amanda Chittister.
Hello, hello.
I will call her Chitty from here on because I don't think I've ever called her Amanda in my life. And we are here with the first podcast of Champion Buildr, and I think we should call it the Champion Buildr Show.
I like that.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, Champion Buildr Show from here on out. And you're here because you want to learn about softball. And we're here because we want to teach softball. Our mission, lightly as it is right now, it's December of 2017. So if you're hearing this in the future, thanks for joining us. But the Champion Buildr mission is going to be to aim to empower coaches and athletes by providing the most current and up-to-date knowledge, actionable tips, tactics, and strategies to take your game to the next level. By connecting the top-level instruction from the best international, professional, and high-level colleges, Champion Buildr is going to be the platform for your game. This is going to be the ultimate softball classroom. We're going to build champions on the field and in life. What do you think about that, Chid?
I'm loving it. Every second of it.
So this idea kind of came to me while I was coaching at Alabama. And I wanted to try to coach players at scale, not just coach the 15 to 20 players you have on a roster, but I wanted to help players, athletes, coaches at a wider level. And I think doing this through the internet, doing this through podcasting will definitely help grow the game. And that is my mission in a nutshell right now. And that's what I think Champion Buildr can be as we continue to grow this and continue to bring more and more people into it. Right now, it is me and Chitty, and we are running the show. But as we continue to go here and you continue to listen, you'll hear some of the greatest people involved in the game be a part of this. And I think it can help grow your game on the field, in the coach's box, and just elevate the game as a whole. And that is going to be our goal, I think. What do you think about that?
No, absolutely. Adam actually brought me on board. We sat down, had some coffee, and told me about this idea. And I'm the same way as Adam. We're passionate about the game. We're passionate about people. We're passionate about life, and we love sharing our knowledge, sharing value, anything we can to make anybody better. We're all about. So when he told me this idea about Champion Buildr, it was. I was all about it right from the beginning because it's, like we said, like it's a platform where you're going to be able to get, a lot for softball, for life, for anything that you're wanting to be great at. So
as we grow on this platform and as you grow with us, more and more opportunities will be presented to you to learn, and more opportunities will be presented for us to teach through different platforms in this Champion Buildr way. How about we just go into a brief rundown of your experience and background in the game, Chid, and some people who don't know the great Amanda Chittister can get a feel for who you are, where you've been, and where you aim to go.
Okay, well, as you all know, Adam introduced me in the beginning. Chitty is my nickname. I've been called Chitty ever since I started playing organized sports. So it's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It's been around for a while. Let's see. I grew up. I played multiple sports growing up. I have 4 brothers. I played sports with them. If I wanted to play with them, I had to keep up with them. So, I played basketball, volleyball, and softball all growing up from middle school through high school. And if you would ask me in middle school what I wanted to do, I would have told you that I wanted to play in the WNBA, and I was going to be this basketball all-star playing at Duke or UConn. I was all about basketball when I was younger.
Baller.
I love basketball. But as I was getting older, softball was, definitely was my better sport, stronger sport, and my dream school was to go to Michigan. So I worked for it. My freshman year, it was freshman or sophomore year, Hutch and them got a hold of my coaches in high school, and they told me they wanted me to come to Michigan, and I didn't think they were being serious. Like, I was like, there's just no way. There's no way. And Hutch had me sold when she called me Chitty at camp when I was in 8th grade, I think. But yeah, so I went to my dream school at Michigan, played there all 4 years. After college, I wanted to continue to play, and my next dream was to play on the national team. And so from there, after my junior year, I really felt like I had a good year to get invited for a tryout, but I didn't. But that didn't stop me. I continued to work, and my senior year, finally, I got the invite. So from my senior year in 2012, I've been playing with the national team. So I think it's my 6th year I just finished up. So I've been playing with the national team. I played in Japan for a year. I just got back this past month. No, it was a couple months ago. I played in Italy. So I've been traveling all around to play in different places. I've been in Argentina, which helped with their junior national team, and played a little bit there. So I've gotten to definitely travel the world playing softball and meet some amazing people. I've gathered a ton of just life lessons and experiences that I don't know, I'm extremely thankful for and blessed. My family was a huge part of everything and supported me through everything. So, I could go on for hours about all my experiences with softball, but yeah, I guess that's a little background. I'm still playing. I'm still going. My goals, my future for softball is to play in the 2020 Olympics. So that's kind of been my priority. That's been my change and my vision for these next couple years. And that's where my everydays are gearing towards. So.
Listen to that. Softball can take you places you never thought it could take you.
Absolutely.
If you just dedicate yourself and truly love the journey, and have the talent to back it up. That always helps. Sprinkle in the talent, that'll help out.
Hard work is a big piece too.
Hard work and talent's a good combination. And just like quickly to go through my background, growing up, played baseball. Both my parents were coaches, so I was always at a field or a court, being involved in the games and learning about just different tactics and strategies to help you get better in any type of sport, really. Then I got the opportunity to be a member of the Michigan baseball team. I was a great practice player. I did everything I could to help my program. We won a couple of Big Ten championships, which was the highlight of my playing career.
Embracing your roles, right?
Embracing your role. Yeah, know your role and shut your hole. That's what I've been told. We'll learn about that, I'm sure, in other episodes. But from that experience, being a part of the Michigan baseball program and being involved in the physical education teaching program at Michigan, I was able to become friends with a bunch of the softball players, and they weaseled my way into helping out with the softball program at Michigan. And that's when I met Hutch and Biggie and Bonnie, and they basically helped transform my vision from, I've always wanted to be a coach, I just didn't know if it was going to be baseball or softball. And when I got the opportunity to help out at Michigan, it was going to be softball all the way, just because of all the energy, the passion, just the enthusiasm and love for the game that the softball players brought every day to the field. It just made being there just the best part of my day. And Chitty can tell you, I'd show up 3 hours before practice and be there 3 hours after practice, and we would just go to town, just working on anything we could. So from there, I didn't know what I was going to do after graduating, and luckily, Coach Patrick Murphy at the University of Alabama, that was the summer of him coaching at LSU for probably 2 days. When he came back to Alabama after those 2 days, I got a call asking if I wanted to be a volunteer coach. They had never had one before, so I, of course, took the trip down there, visited, did a little interview, and that was sealed. And in 2011, I went to go be a volunteer coach with them. That next spring, we went on a magical ride of winning the national championship, and Chitty's shaking her head because we beat Michigan in super regionals, and at least we got to play each other.
Yeah, whatever.
No bitterness is held there. But I coached 3 years at Alabama. Then I went to go be a full-time assistant hitting coach at the University of Iowa in 2015. And then I went back to Alabama for 2 more years, being a part of a couple SEC championship teams and a couple coaching staffs of the year. I've just had a great opportunity to learn from some of the best coaches in the country. And I just want to pass on that knowledge and those different connections that I've been so lucky and grateful to encounter, and just spread that softball knowledge onto everybody who's listening. And that's why we're here.
Absolutely.
And I just think growing the game, it's growing exponentially as it is. Mm-hmm. There's more kids playing, there's more coaches coaching, there's more people watching on TV. I think it's up to us to increase the game and the playing as that goes up too. Because I'm sure you can look around sometimes and the play is a little watered down. People aren't as competitive. We're in these showcases just trying to show off instead of actually competing and getting better. So I think we need to bring our focus back on what can really increase the pace and the play of the youth levels. How can we make our college game better? How can we make our international game better? And I think that all stems from the tons and tons of players who are out there playing at the youth levels and getting them to play the game the right way. Do you have any thoughts on that, Chid?
Yeah, I think too. I mean, as you're saying that, I keep thinking about how, honestly, like, you could probably do a whole podcast yourself, just telling your whole story and every step of the way of the challenges that you faced, of the things that you had to overcome. And I think, I could do the same, and I think that would be an important podcast, because I think that's the thing too, is, some people think that, we get to the places we get because, we got lucky or this or that. Like, our everydays aren't, just glamorous. Like, there is, different things that, we all struggle through. And I think that's a big piece, with, the youth level now with different things. It's like, there is more to it. And you have to find that love for it. You have to want it. It just can't come from the parents. It can't come because, I can get a scholarship if I'm good at this. We got to find that passion back in the game, and it doesn't even have to be the game of softball. It could be with anything. Maybe you're playing and you realize, like, there's something different that you absolutely love, and then you change directions. But I just think that if we find that enjoyment in the things that we're doing again, then I think that people will find that, that competitive edge will come out a little bit more because we care about it, or, just different things. So I think that, there's so many different directions we could go in, and topics that we could talk about through our experiences and through what we have seen, with the sport, in the talent, and how, they are trying to impress people instead of just playing the game. We just worked at a showcase just this past weekend, which is a great showcase, but I kept hearing the word selling, and that word just drove me nuts, because I, as a coach, I was at Duke for a year, and just for that little time that I was there, I didn't want some fake kid, like a kid being fake in front of me, because that's what I wanted to see. So just going into that too, we gotta get these kids to embrace who they are, and someone's gonna want you. You know what I mean? Someone's gonna want you. So don't try to be fake about it. Be who you are. So I think, like I said, there's a million different directions we could go in this.
And we will go in every single direction there is.
We will.
But I just want to second the point of just the selling aspect of showcases and youth softball and recruiting out there. Just play the game with your hair on fire. Mm-hmm. Have fun. Bring the energy. Bring the enthusiasm, because that's what everybody wants to see, and that's what makes playing the game so much fun. Mm-hmm. So if you're not in it to have fun, if you're not in it to work hard, and if working hard isn't fun, then please find something that you want to work hard at. Absolutely. Find something that is fun for you.
Absolutely.
And parents and coaches, this is a plea to you as well, because you don't want to force your kid into anything. Coaches and parents alike. You don't want to hammer it into them and have them spend years of their life just regretting. At the end of the day, everything we do every single day is to minimize the regret we have at the end of our lives. To enjoy it. Yeah. So I think that's a huge key. Just have fun and work hard. And if those two things don't go together, find something that does go with those two things. And to second on the point of it's not always the most glamorous at times, we're recording this in my car at the moment. Our recording studio is my car. So if the audio isn't the best, that's why. So, Chid, I kind of explained what the mission of Champion Buildr is, and kind of where I see it going. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, obviously I agree with you on what you had said. I just think that, I just hope and wish that we can get an interactive crowd with this. I believe that both of us want to help people. So, it could be anything, any kind of questions, anything, that you're wondering, like, just put them in. Like, we will talk about it. We will give you the best insight that we've had. Like I say, like you said, it's a platform where it's all aspects, past, present, future, all aspects, recruiting, both Adam and I read a ton. So it's just, that aspect of things, just constantly managing yourself and learning about, life and the game, and actually just learning about yourself and how you operate. So I don't know, there's just so many pieces to this, and that's why I'm excited, because I think that people aren't going to come here just for softball. I think that the parents will get use out of it. I think coaches could get use out of it. All the kids, it could be something that they keep playing over and over because something, motivates them in what we say. And I hope that's the case. And I hope that we can, help girls, even if it's not in softball. Hopefully they can listen to something that we said, be like, you know what? Music is my passion. And they go and they work their butts off and they become amazing in music. Like, I would love to hear a story like that. It could be in anything. It could be anything. So yeah, that's where I see this going, and I want to continue to give constant value to anyone who's willing to be open for it.
Yeah, and I hope you're listening to this as you're driving in your car, maybe to a practice. Maybe you're driving to your family house over the holidays here. Maybe you are listening as you're walking the dog or working out. That's the beauty of this audio format, is you can listen to it while you're doing other things. So I have fallen in love with podcasts because I cook dinner and I'm listening to a podcast and I'm learning something new. And we're going to bring on the best minds in the game, in athletics and around athletics to help you better your either coaching game, your playing game, your parenting game, just to increase everybody's skills at any level they are. So I think that will be a big thing as this podcasting format rolls out here. We're going to do our best to bring on the best guests we can and provide you the most value we can with that. As we we're at 20 minutes.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
I know, it's not bad at all. We're doing great.
Like we were going like 45 minutes already.
This is the first time we're ever recording a podcast. You're right here with us.
I'm thinking, okay, Adam, we got to wrap this up. I think we're going over our time that we wanted.
No, and I mean, you're going to get a bunch of audio from just me and Chitty probably answering questions. So any question that you have, find us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube and just leave a comment on a question. And we will do our best to have question and answer sessions. But for our first one, I think we're doing really good.
Yeah, no, I think we're cruising right now.
We weren't really going to do this, but I'm going to ask Chitty on the spot.
Oh.
Just one book that you think could help anybody out there listening. It doesn't have to be your favorite.
Yeah.
But just a book recommendation, because some of us might be taking some time away from school or work when we first released this.
Well, I mean, let's see here. Since yesterday at the showcase, I talked a lot about the mental part of the game, and I asked the girls if they have ever read any mental training books. So since we're on the topic of softball and this and that, I guess I could go in that direction and do like a mental training book. And a lot of people ask, well, what was the books? Like, when did you start reading them? Blah, blah, blah. So since we do have time, I guess I'll give a little background story of this. So it was my freshman year in high school. My high school coach, Debbie Norman, which she is a legend. She she told me, I mean, she was really hard on me, very hard. Like, people think Hutch is tough. Like, Norm did a great job getting me ready for Hutch.
Hutch, you're tough.
Yeah. So, she told me, she's like, you think you're good? Like, you think you're good and your talent's going to take you where you want to go? Like, it's not going to be that way. And I kind of looked at her like, I know I'm talented, but I really don't know what you're talking about. And she was just like, I need you to really embrace the mental side of the game, because that's what's going to set you apart from everyone else. And at that time, I was like, oh, I'm okay. And she recommended a book, and it was called Train Tough the Army Way. And I think I told my parents, I think we went, I don't know if she got it for me or if my parents, we went out and we got it, but I had it in my hands real quick after the suggestion or the recommendation. And so it sat by my nightstand for a long time. Like, I would look at it every night, like, she's crazy. Like, why do I have to read this book? Train Tough the Army Way? Are you kidding me? Like, and I just kept looking at it. Maybe I opened it, kind of looked inside of it. I would say it was probably a good, couple months it sat next to my nightstand. And finally, I was like, okay, like, I'm going to do this. So it took a lot of self-talk and a lot of, saying no to, then finally was like, she said this for a reason. Like, I'm going to do this. So I opened it up and I started reading it, and I started reading it every night, and it was awesome. And that was like the start of me constantly reading. It was that one, and my second one that I got was actually a couple pieces of paper that was copied from a book. I think it was by Jeff Jansen or something, that one of my coaches I think he actually gave me that one when I was in 8th grade, and I put it in my drawer, never read it. And it was just a bunch of mental stuff about the game. And he had put like, you're a great player, please like take a look or something like this. And good luck in your future. And I was in my drawer forever. And once I read the Train Tough the Army Way, I finally was like, oh, I have that paper. I wonder, and I looked it up, and it was like, I read that thing all the time. And then I got winning state softball, and I read that all the time. And I believed in them, and I embraced them, and I was able to kind of get my team on board. Like, I'll never forget, like, one section of it was, there was like a part of nutrition, and it was called, like, big dog food. Like, you have to eat big dog food to fuel your body.
No chihuahuas over here.
Yeah. So in between games, I'd be like, we gotta get our big dog food. And the thing was, like, we were good in high school. We won 2 state championships, then lost in a final game my senior year, and got runners up in the state final game. So, like, and everyone was on board. Everyone embraced it. And so it was awesome. And I mean, I would say that Train Tough the Army Way, I haven't read it since high school, so I'm not really sure. And Winning State Softball, I actually just looked up both those books the other day. And I lent my Winning State Softball to a player out there, AJ Militello. If you're listening to this, I want my book back.
Shout out. We're coming for you.
Yeah, right? But yeah, I would say those 2 books. I mean, those are the ones I started with, and they got me interested in reading and knowing the basics of the mental game. I bought into it, and it was a ritual of mine. I put it into my routine. When I was on the bus, I pulled out Winning State Softball, and I read it before every game. And I felt that it got me ready, and I was prepared. So, and then, in college, it continues, and you find new ways. Like, not one thing is going to work for you every single year, and I've learned that. Through experience, that you need to switch it up. Like, it's something else that's meaningful for you. It's got to be meaningful, or else it doesn't have the same effect.
Yeah, it's got to be meaningful, and you have to be consistent with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just because so many of us like read something, we see a tweet, we see an Instagram post, and we like it, and that's it.
Yep.
When if we looked at it every single day, what kind of effect could that have on us?
Absolutely.
If I had to make any recommendations for books out there, I'm going to go a coaching route and tell the coaches out there to find any book by John Wooden and any book by Pat Summitt.
I got to read the Pat Summitt
Yep,
one.
I got to get you the Pat Summitt books.
We were just talking about that.
And just read them through the lens of why they did what they did. Because too often, I think we look at what people do and we wonder, why did they do that? Instead of asking ourselves, why did they think to do that? Like, we need to just stop looking at what people do and try to figure out why they do what they do. And I think when you read books by great coaches, they kind of unravel those answers throughout the pages. So don't just read to see the cool stats or maybe the culture driver things they do with their programs. Just kind of look to why they chose to do what they did. And I think you can learn a lot just from that.
Absolutely.
So from there, do you watch documentaries at all?
I can't say. I've seen a couple, but I wouldn't be able to be like, oh, go watch this one.
Yeah, so I'm going to recommend 2 great documentaries because I get on Netflix. Yeah, here we go, the recommendation round. Jiro Dreams of Sushi on Netflix. You can find it. It's about a sushi chef in Japan who is meticulous about his craft. And he's probably 80 years old. He only has... It's on there right now. You got to look it up.
Yeah.
And he has about 5 or 6 seats in his restaurant, and it's always packed. Like, you can never get reservation. And it's just about everything has to be perfect in his shop. If you want to look at somebody who loves what they do and does it with a passion and with a just meticulous skill, go watch Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Another film kind of on that same avenue, I would call it, is Comedian with Jerry Seinfeld. It's about Jerry Seinfeld and Orny Adams, and it's about 2 different stand-up comedians and how they kind of work their craft in the streets of New York and LA. And I don't know if young kids should watch it. There's some language, but it's interesting how people who are great at what they do and maybe sometimes not great at what they do, how they approach what they do differently. Too often, I think we look at people who are ultra successful and it seems easy to them, and why is it not easy for everybody? And it's how they approach it with the kind of consistency, the repetition, the discipline and dedication they have, and how they approach what they do. Because Jerry Seinfeld, there was a moment in the documentary, where he approaches writing jokes like construction workers have to go to work.
Interesting.
Instead of just writing whenever he wanted to, he was like, no, I have to write every day. I have to write for 8 hours a day, and that's why he is so great at what he does. And this Orny Adams guy was kind of all over the place and thinking he was better than he was. And I won't give it all away, but you'll see it when you watch it. But it's just, those are 2 great documentaries to kind of take bits and pieces, and again, kind of like see why they do what they do.
And I think too, just kind of going off of like your explanation of that, it just keeps making me think how there is no perfect recipe to make somebody great. It's you can learn from other people's experiences, but you have to form your own, or else you're not gonna be as successful as you probably could, or you're not gonna enjoy it as much as you want. So I think that's something too to take into consideration when Adam asks these different questions to think about. I think that's huge because it's about you personally and how, you can learn from these things, but how are you going to formulate it? How are you going to make it?
That was beautiful. One last book recommendation that Chitty just made me think of is Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. It's probably 50 pages long, if that. You can read it in a half hour. And he's an artist who is also an author, but just how great art is created. And it's just like that, like different coaches you learn from, and maybe subconsciously you don't even know it, but you take bits and pieces from them and form your own style, your own opinion. And I think if you can do that consciously and think, yeah, I really like that, I'm using that, I'm stealing that. Sometimes give them credit, sometimes you don't know.
Yeah. I feel like I do that all the time. Like, well, Coach Dobson taught me this. Well, Coach Erickson said this to me. Well, Hutch is the one who got me this. And Coach Tarr told me that. Coach Rittman, here we go here. Like, I literally pull from every single person something that I liked, and I always reference them.
Yeah, always give credit when you can. Sometimes it's subconscious and you don't know. Yeah. It just comes about. Yeah. And I'm sure that'll happen many times, so shout out to all of our coaches.
Yeah, right.
Up front here in the first episode.
You're probably going to hear some of your stuff.
Yeah, if we don't credit you, you know where we got it. You can call us out.
Because we'll probably have you on here anyway.
Yeah, so. You can publicly shame us then. As we kind of like get towards the end of the first episode, how about we close out with maybe not the most significant lesson you've learned in the game, but just like one lesson softball has taught you that you can pass on to whoever is listening.
Do you have one?
I can make one.
Okay.
I can get one.
I would say mine is like the biggest lesson I learned, and I wish I would have learned it when I was younger, is softball is something that I do. It's not who I am. And the second I was able to make that separation, I was able to accept failure a lot easier. I was able to have more self-confidence in myself, because if I had a bad game, a lot of times I thought that I was a bad person, or, the coach, I always had this thing like with Hutch, and like I always thought I disappointed her and she didn't love me anymore when I messed up. And that I carried that, and I put a lot of extra pressure because I carried that. So it's one of those things where, it is something that you do. Like the people are people. They're still going to love you no matter what. They're still going to think you're great no matter what, especially if you're giving it your best. Like if you don't perform, you don't perform. It's not the end of the day. There's the next pitch. Like, it's that there's always that next play that's going to happen. So, I think that was the biggest revelation I've ever made in softball, and it's helped me tremendously in the last 4 years of me playing. So
yeah, and I think just to add on top of that, being a professional player versus a personal player, there you go. You can't take anything personally in the game, otherwise it will eat you alive.
Yes, it will.
So just take it as a professional approach, and just what Chid said, it's what you do, not who you are. One lesson that I'm gonna give credit directly to Hutch, and it's just a mantra for life, is just one pitch at a time, one pitch softball. I'm sure many people have said that in the past, but I heard it first from Hutch. And just, you have to take every single moment as it comes and then leave it there. You can't take it with you. You can't have anxiety about things that are to come in the future. You take every moment as it is, do your best, and then leave it there. And I think you're going to get that from us in every podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to do our best, and then we're going to leave it there and get better for the next one. We're going to learn from it. So any parting words of wisdom?
No, we just hope that you enjoy this, and we want you to keep coming back. We plan on having one of these once a week, and it's something to look forward to. And like we said, like, we're here for you. So if there's something you want us to talk about, if there's someone you want to hear, like anything, that maybe there's some information that you just really haven't heard a lot of people talk about, and you wanna hear it, ask us. We will go above and beyond to get you the information and the knowledge that we have had in this. And if we don't know it, guess what? We're gonna admit we don't know it, and we're gonna go ask people who do know it.
Boom! It's what Chitty said earlier. There's no one way to do something in this great game, and we're gonna do our best to find out everything we can and just send it on to you. We're gonna be the vessels. We're gonna be the messengers. We're gonna be the cutoff men. Trying to get that out at the plate. But I hope you hang out with us every week, and we're gonna do what we can every week to give you the best info in this game, in the coaching ranks, just with any topic that comes up. So we hope you keep coming back, and we thank you for joining us on our first episode.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, champion Buildr.